support a constitutional amendment to regulate campaign financing, and what, in your future position as a congressman, could you do about that? Colleen?
Absolutely. I have always thought that we needed campaign finance reform. But now that I'm actually in this race and having to raise money to win this seat, I see firsthand how imperative it is that we enact campaign finance reform. The amount of money that's in politics, it's disgusting. I mean, it's not even, we all have to spend so much time raising money to be successful in this race, and it's not that we're fighting against our opponent, it's that we're going to be fighting against all the outside money that's coming in, all the dark money, the special interest money, the money that's out there that's going to try to paint us as somebody that we're not. So I absolutely think we need to have campaign finance reform. I mean, for corporations to be given free speech in the form of money, I mean, that's not what this country is all about. And I will fight hard and work hard and do everything I can to make sure that we're getting something done to get rid of all the money, outside money in politics.
Thank you very much, Eric.
Yeah, ditto, but let me add to that. A little quick story. I go into the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee thinking about running for Congress. Before I sit down, the political director says to me, Eric, we want you to know we don't care what your views are, what you believe. We only care if you can win. Now, this guy's sitting there and saying, use blankly blank blank in his head. That's what's wrong with the Democratic Party. It's lost its soul. And it's also what's wrong with the Republican Party. There's a lack of focus on what we should be doing because money is running things. Specifics. I would have a national holiday for, yeah, I support a national amendment, but do other things. A national holiday for federal elections. Longer voting periods, shorter election periods. Limit them to 2 months. Life would have been a lot better in the last few months. I would have public finance, and I would gear it towards the small contribution as they do in New York City, a higher rate of government contribution to a small donor. Would add that I would work in civics. One of the things I want to do if I win, I know we're supposed to say when I win, but who the hell knows where you'll even be tomorrow. Okay? If I win, I want to spend time in high schools, in grade schools, talking about democracy. Because we have to get our kids involved in thinking about this. I love seeing what Bernie Sanders has done. Others have done too. Bernie's brought in a whole new generation. So all of the kinds of things we can do to expand the vote and to go after this dishonest attempt to stop people from voting because they're black, because they're young, because they're likely to be liberal. All of the kinds of phony efforts in the states to discourage voting, that's wrong. It's not part of our it shouldn't be part of our politics. So that would be it.
Thank you very much, Steve.
Did any of you happen to see the 60 Minutes episode a couple weeks ago where they talked about congressional representatives having to be on the phone 30 hours a week begging for money? It's pretty sad, isn't it? Yeah. And I'm probably not too popular with the political establishment either, because there's a bill that they talked about during that program called STOP that would prevent congressional representatives from spending 30 hours of every week, the majority of their time, begging for money, and I will sponsor that bill. How can we run the country? How can the country's business be conducted if every single representative is on the phone 30 hours a week? It's ridiculous. It's a part-time job and they're getting a full-time salary. And you know what? It's just demeaning and demoralizing, and it's not what the Founding Fathers had in mind. So I would support legislation to prevent that, number one. But, you know, the big culprit, and they talked about this in 60 Minutes, that led to where we are today, because this is a recent phenomenon. It's a recent phenomenon. And, you know, they talked to Congressman Steve Israel, who used to be in the DCCC, and he's now adamantly against this kind of thing. He knows I am. In fact, that's why he's supporting me. But in any event, what led to it is Citizens United. Citizens United upped the ante for everybody Because of all that corporate money coming in, if it's not coming in on your side, you have to combat it somehow, and the only way to combat it is to raise just unbelievable amounts of money. As the three of us sit here today, and I can tell you, all three of us sit on the phone all day, begging for money. It's disgusting. Between us, we haven't really raised that much money. I think Colleen's at 250, I'm at maybe 230, and Eric's at 210, 200, whatever. John Katko is at $1.4 million. $1.4 million. That's a lot of PAC money, friends. And you might recall that John Katko, when he was running, he referred to Dan Maffei as the Pac-Man. You remember that? Yeah. Well, John Katko is the Pac-Man on steroids. But the bottom line is we need to get rid of Citizens United. I said it earlier, I'll do whatever it takes. I will support a constitutional amendment to get rid of it. It's bad for our country.
Thank you very much.